Stranger Things, at last I've watched it. I'm just one of these people that just never watched it despite all the hype and all the people praising it. And then eventually I did watch it. I started last week and I binged it all in less than a week. So that's seasons 1 to 4. Obviously we haven't got all of season 4, but I've seen it all. I love it. I think it's awesome. And now I feel very empty now that I've finished it and, have to wait till early July to get those final 2 episodes. So I'm kind of in pain right now. Now, what I'm going to do for this review is just briefly give a brief review for season 1, 2, and 3, and then talk about 4. I know that's probably what you guys want to hear about. You want to hear about season 4, but I just want to give my brief views on season 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, for season 1, I didn't know what to expect from the show. I've always seen things about it, but was never really sure what it was about. But from the start to the finish of season 1, I just was hooked. I really enjoyed everything about the show. The setting, the characters, the tone, the humour, everything was perfect. Everyone is so likeable, everyone has great character arcs in the first season, and finale episode was one of the best season finale episodes I've ever seen. It actually had me emotional. Everything was just so wholesome and fulfilling. I just love the conclusion that it came to. The child actors in this show are exceptional, they feel real, and the adult characters too are also very good, but the children, they do steal the show here. The mystery of the Upside Down and the monsters and the dodgy lab was very intriguing, and I liked that it was still unclear in this season what was going on, but it's also understandable, and we know as much as the characters do, so it does set it up nicely for future seasons where they can expand on it. As for season 2, this was focused heavily on the threat from the Upside Down, and therefore it spent less time on the non-Upside Down stuff, like the human drama and the human relationships. It did still have that, but the first season for me had that better balance, or at least I preferred that balance, as more of it was relatable. I like it when we get the human side of things, like the friendships and people fancying each other and all this stuff. I like that was more present in season 1, but obviously they had a story to tell here regarding the Upside Down and the Mind Flayer, so it's understandable why they went down this certain route. I did still enjoy this season, and the growth of certain characters was entertaining, but I think it wasn't as complete and entertaining as that first season. The plotline with Will, whilst of course it made sense, felt a little reused to me just because he was the main person suffering from the Upside Down in season 1, and again that was the case here. I did miss the group as well of Mike, Dustin and Lucas and Elle, as Elle was split from them and the group as a whole was more split more often than not. These things aren't exactly flaws, but I did enjoy those elements from the first season and found this one not as gripping, but it's still a season with a lot of heart. It's entertaining, it's funny and scary and wholesome, especially the final scene at the snowball. It was nice to just see Mike and Elle back together. I think they're a very cute couple, and I don't think they spend enough time with each other in this show. Right, now season 3, this was a fun season. It was a better season than season 2, and it certainly had more of that human drama balance, especially to start with, that I enjoy so much, and then it sort of faded more into the monster and Upside Down drama as it went on. New characters were cool, and I love how this show gives everyone enough screen time, as well as changing which characters are spending time with other characters, such as Dustin was barely with Mike, Lucas and Will. Instead he was with Steve, which is something we never would have seen coming in season 1. This was also the funniest season. It didn't feel like it overplayed it too much either, even though it was more comedic than usual. The plotline involving the Russians was different, not the most fascinating to me, but different, and whilst all characters are great, the group of kids, along with Steve and Robin, are just the best. They're the most enjoyable, I think, to watch. The Upside Down plot didn't feel like it changed much, but it did pick up on issues left in previous seasons, or at least, it was trying to tie up some loose ends in that sense. It's leaving no stones unturned. And the show as a whole is just very, very addictive. I found the ending kind of sad because, everyone's just moving away from Hawkins, and I didn't really like that, but obviously it's all going to come full circle again. They will reunite again one day, and I thought season 3 was a very solid season. Alright, season 4. Let's talk about season 4. So far, this has been a crazy season, and it feels crazy because everyone's split up. Like, everyone's in a different state or a different country. Everyone's just all over the place, and you kind of got like these 4 groups in a sense. 3 almost, regarding Elle, but she's been split from Mike at this moment, so they're all just spread out. And whilst I miss certain characters being with each other, I am a fan of the team ups that we have for this season, and I'm also a fan of the new characters And the new threats, such as Vecna. Vecna is a very menacing villain. The way he murders, the way he kills, the way he's a threat, like they even say in the show, it's almost like he's a Freddy Krueger type thing. Like, he'll just sneak up on you and get you, and you really can't do anything about it. I like the truth behind his origin as well. I like how it links to Elle and how that all links to season 1, and it provides a backstory for why she left Hawkins' lab in the first place. It didn't actually feel too forced. It didn't feel like something that was really just made up the spot. Like, okay, let's think of why Elle escaped the lab, what happened. I like the way it actually feels like it's quite orchestrated. I'm not sure if they had this idea from the start of season 1 or if they were pondering it, you know, a little bit later in their story, but either way, it fits nicely, it makes sense, it hasn't tarnished anything from the older seasons. It just fits together very well. And this is definitely a darker season compared to season 3. It still has some laughs, but it's less so. And it makes sense when the threat looming is very dangerous to our characters. I do always miss that human drama, but that's just because I like the characters so much, so I enjoy seeing their downtime. But for the story, it makes sense that they're in the deep end right now. It's kind of almost like a similar thing to season 1 and season 2, where season 1 you kind of got that balance, and then, you know, they've got to fix some stuff in season 2, and then it was sort of the same with season 3, where stuff is being set up almost for season 4, and then season 4 everyone is just in a bit of a shit show. Elle's story, along with Dustin, Steve, Robin, Nancy, you know, that little group, I found to be the most interesting of the series. But it's good that Mike's side of things, as well as Hopper's, seems to be reaching a point where characters will reunite and battle together again, because obviously they're like, Hopper's story and Mike's story haven't been as fascinating because they're just sort of stuck. They're not, and they're also not part of the real problem that's going on, whereas Elle is, in a sense, she's learning her truth, you know, a certain truth behind it. The group of like Nancy and Steve and Dustin, they're learning their own truth about it, and then they're both got this knowledge that will come in handy when they meet together, and then hopefully Mike's group and then Hopper's group can sort of come back and reunite and then all work together again. I have missed having Mike with the gang, you know, the group his age, like Dustin and Lucas and Elle, because he was also pivotal to stopping the threat, especially in like season 1. You know, he was the guy, he was the man. And even in the other seasons, it felt like he always kind of had a bit more of a central point, and it feels like he's almost been pushed to the side a bit here. But I hope he does get a bigger role in these final couple episodes. Maybe they're just doing it because they want to give everyone, you know, more of a spotlight, because maybe he had the spotlight in the earlier seasons, but I'd like him to come back to center stage. And of course, as for that finale episode, what a great episode that was. So much going on. It was pretty much a perfect final episode, and we see that Nancy is now in a bit of a sticky spot. I'm not sure if the music trick will be helpful in this situation, but I just get the feeling that someone from our group of great characters is not going to make it out alive by the end of season 4. I have a bad feeling about Steve. I don't know why, I just do. I hope not Steve. I hope not anyone, honestly, but I do have a bad feeling about Steve. Of course, the final episode of season 4 is like 2 hours 20, which is awesome. And all the episodes this season have been longer than they've ever been before. You know, each one is over an hour. You're looking at like an hour 15, hour 20, like average runtime, it seems, for these episodes. But they actually still fly by. Like, yeah, it's long, but it just seems to fly by when you're watching it. And before you know it, you started at 3 and then it's 4:30 and you're like, holy shit, I only watched 1 episode. Like, that's usually the amount of time to watch 2 episodes. But I'm enjoying the longer run times. They feel necessary. You know, I've seen some people say it seems to just be filled with filler, but I think if they were just, you know, doing all this monster stuff and just cutting straight through it and not having any time, like downtime with the characters and some human drama, it would just feel a bit rushed. So I think the runtime makes sense, and I like what they're filling the episodes with. I'll be honest, I still don't think season 4 is the strongest, at least for now. For me, season 1 just had such a charm, and it was so fresh that it still sits at the top for me. But this is a strong season so far. It's probably better than season 3, I'd say. I know people would say, well, obviously it's better than season 3, but I did really enjoy season 3. I enjoyed sort of the tone that they were going for in that season. So I think it's definitely level with it, and I think these final 2 episodes will probably push it to the point where it is better than season 3 for me. But everything about this 4th season is very impressive. You know, not just the story, but the writing It's very solid. The soundtrack's really good. The special effects are really good. Everything about it is really good. And the horror aspect has been stepped up big time as well. So I'm really enjoying this 4th season. If I had to give it a rating so far, I would say 8.5 for season 4 so far. I still think it's got a bit of work to do, but it set up stuff very well in this volume 1. So for the last 2 episodes, it can really just go to town with the characters and the monsters and the Upside Down, and, you know, create like a really epic finale. But yeah, Stranger Things, I'm so glad I finally watched it. I'm so glad that it lived up to the hype for me, because it's one of those things, isn't it, where, you know, people hype up a show and you're like, is it really that good though? It's the same with like Game of Thrones and all that, and, you know, I eventually watched that, and now I've eventually watched this, and I'm loving it. I think it's so awesome, and I can't wait to see more. But yeah, just left me feeling a little bit empty now, because I was enjoying watching it so much, binging it, you know, hours and hours a day, and now I'm just like, well, what the hell do I watch now? But either way, I think the final 2 episodes come out on July 1st, so it's not that long away. It's not too long to wait, and I will be reviewing those final 2 episodes when they come out. So yeah, I will see you in that. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. If you've seen Stranger Things, let me know what you think about it. Bye bye.